Hello class. Seem a little agitated today. It's because I am. Beaker is getting a little bit freaky. I think being stuck in the house all this time is causing him to, lose it just a little bit. As you noticed, he's taken to wearing a mask all the time and even gloves. These aren't even gloves. These are fingertips cut off of a real glove. Anyway, I keep telling him, we are in the house. We're keeping social distance. You don't need a mask. Nobody's sick. You certainly don't need your gloved fingers. Anyway, I'll keep talking to him. While I'm dealing with Beaker, you can enjoy this lesson. Okay, so we did part 2 yesterday, but I've noted in the homework that several of you having a little bit of trouble with this. You're getting the ionic and the covalent a little bit mixed. So we're going to go back over covalent one more time, make sure that you're clear on this covalent, because it wouldn't make any sense to go on to part 3 and do polyatomic ions until we've got this perfectly clear in our head. So real quick, we're just going to run back over the rules for covalent compounds. And the first thing you have to remember, it is 2 nonmetals, and we'll talk about that again in just a few seconds. But we got to be perfectly clear that when you look at the periodic table, and again, I'm going to put you a little periodic table here. These are the noble gases. Hydrogen's right there. That's hydrogen. That's kind of give you an idea where we're at. Transition metals, and there's the P block. When we look at the periodic table, all of these guys are metals. The nonmetals are just up here in this corner. So for it to be covalent, it has to be 2 things from this corner. Everything you're going to see today in this video and everything you're going to see on your homework assignment is going to be covalent. I'm going to tell you that right up front. So you don't have to ask, is it ionic, is it covalent? We'll talk about that in the next video. So make sure you remember they're all going to be nonmetals, and all the stuff we're going to look at today is going to be covalent, so you don't have to ask that question. We name the first one like it's an element. We'll do a few examples. The second one named like an anion. In other words, everything ends in IDE. And then the most important thing is we have to use prefixes. At some point in every single answer to every problem today, there's going to be a prefix. If it is covalent, boom, I cannot stress it enough. If the substance is covalent equals prefixes. That's super important. So when you are told it's covalent, I expect your answer to have a prefix in it in the right place. We'll talk about where that place is again through these examples. And the only other rule to remember is never put mono on the first one. So if we have, always there'll be like an X and a Y. If there's only one of these, we don't put mono on it. We do use, anytime there's anything, we use a prefix on these. So you can take the mask off. It's not doing any good. It's not even covering your nose. What are you doing? The prefixes, once again, you should have these. If you've not written these down, if you've not put them in your memory, write them down now. Pause the video. Jot down the prefixes. If you've got them memorized, that's best. But if there's 1 atom, mono. 2 atoms, di. 3, tri. 4, tetra. 5, penta. 6, hexa. 7, hepta. 8, octa, 9, nona, and 10, deca. We've got to have those before we can do any of the problems. Problem 1, CO2. Now we're going to go ahead and tell you, remember these are all covalent. Since it's covalent, all I have to do is remember this is carbon, this is oxide. How many carbons are there? Well, there's 1. We do not use mono, so carbon's done. How many is this? 2. 2 is di, so we put dioxide. And the name of that is carbon dioxide. That's that's as difficult as it is right there. Carbon dioxide. Okay, you try this one real quick. Again, we already know it's covalent. Everything we're looking at today is going to be covalent. So I have carbon. There's 1 of them, so we do not put mono to start with, so we don't have a mono there. Never put mono to start with. And this is how many oxygens? 1, so that'd be monoxide. Now, just a little side note, we always write the names, and if you just kind of go with your gut feeling, you would never write monoxide. That would be weird. So it's just monoxide. The technical rule is if the prefix ends in a vowel and the element starts with a vowel, we drop one of them, and so you have to kind of play with it. But just go with what sounds best, and you'll almost always get the right answer. Take a look at that one there. Again, we know it's covalent, and we've got a carbon, so we put carbon. What is 4? What is 4? 4 is tetra, so we put tetra. And then Cl is chloride. Carbon tetrachloride. Notice every single, I can't stress this enough, every single covalent compound has a prefix. The second word always gets a prefix. The first word only gets a prefix if it's not a mono. So, just at least let me take the glove. The glove. Can we take the glove off for a second? Just take a look at that one there. Again, we know it's covalent, and we've got a carbon, so we put carbon. What is 4? What is 4? 4 is tetra. So we put tetra. And then Cl is chloride. Carbon tetrachloride. Notice every single, I can't stress this enough, every single covalent compound has a prefix. The second word always gets a prefix. The first word only gets a prefix if it's not a mono. So there's your one that doesn't have a mono. So this is nitrogen. So we got nitrogen. What is 2? 2 is di. So this is dinitrogen tetroxide. Dinitrogen tetroxide. N2O4. Xenon hexa fluoride. Xenon hexafluoride. Try that one real quick. 4 is tetra, so we know that's tetra nitrogen. Tetra. We drop the A, oxide. Tetranitrogen tetroxide. Good. What is 2? 2 is di. P is phosphorus. Oops, sorry. That looks terrible. Deca, dec, the AC, we've dropped the A, decoxide. Diphosphorus decoxide. So, there's you another quick little review of covalent compounds. Remember, it's going to be a nonmetal and a nonmetal. Every single one of these second ones always get a prefix. The first ones only get a prefix if the prefix is not mono. So never use mono to start with. This one you can use mono, this one you cannot. I'm going to give you another little practice on this. Make sure you can do this skill. We've got to have this before we move on to the next section. Thank you. Anyway, as you can see, Beaker has decided he's going to keep the mask on for a little while. As always, stay safe. I hope to see you soon. Look forward to more information next week about a Zoom lesson. We'll be sending that out probably over the weekend via Remind. Take care.